G'day, cunts! Welcome to episode number 32 of the GreenCast, a podcast by me, Mr. GreenText, where I usually ramble to myself in a bedroom like a madman. You know the fucking get up at this point. I suppose I better get the elephant, the thing in the middle of the room that everyone's probably fucking been asking in my comments. Where did it go? For like 2 to 3 weeks. And there's a couple of answers to that. Mostly, just burnt out, to be honest. When I made the channel originally, I always knew that I'd schedule to upload stuff. But basically, the best way to describe it is the same thing that happened with another YouTube channel called Does Bro Shit, which, if you don't know, he made, I don't know if he still makes, the really popular series on YouTube called Idiot Box, where he just makes like Gmod animations and that sort of stuff. And basically, he does a bunch of editing work in Premiere and a bunch of other stuff involving the same programs that he uses to make Idiot Box on the side. And he was explaining that it's quite demotivating to spend upwards of like potentially 10 hours in a day on one program doing your actual job that you're getting paid for, or, well, you know, a job that you're getting paid for and whatnot, to then also going to a side project or a side hobby where it's doing exactly the same thing, but you're not really getting, you know, paid for it as much or whatever the hell. And that was basically the same sort of case that I was having for a bit. I don't know, I have my ups and downs with my content, been having, like, fun with it. Definitely going to be experimenting with it more. Like I said, I'll talk about this a bit later. But, I mean, also another huge factor was just getting booted from my network as well. I thought that I was, like, you know, done for. Me revenue was gonna go. My views fucking got cut in half because of it for some fucking reason. I don't know. I mean, it probably didn't help that I didn't upload for, like, I don't know, almost a month. But yeah, I thought I was, like, totally fucked. And it wasn't until, like, this past week that I realized I wasn't totally screwed, because I managed to, like, pull a fucking rabbit out of a goddamn hat and link an AdSense account and fuck around with my, with my channel and link it back to being able to monetize and stuff. But I also, like, got a thing in the mail from, like, Google AdSense, and now I actually have it fully sorted. I have my money directly going into my bank account now, which is weird, because it almost feels like an actual job at this point. But it's also kind of annoying at the same time, having the monetization directly go into my bank account, because then I can't hide it from the tax man as easily, which is hilarious. Because before, because obviously all the monetization went through the network that I was with, Broadband TV, fuck you guys, because they were an American company, I got paid in US dollars, which is also fucking great, because since I live in Australia, US dollar is worth, I wouldn't say a lot more, but it's worth, I think, I'm pretty sure it's like 73 cents Australian to US at the moment. So I'd get like a good couple $100 extra to what they'd pay me because of the conversions, which was fucking amazing. However, now I get paid straight in Australian dollars, which I'm like, damn it. So I don't know how that particularly, like, worked out, but whatever, it does. So that's fucking sorted, so I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I suppose if that's sorted now, there's no excuse not to fucking upload. But I don't know, yeah, I guess I just look back on it and I'm like, you know, I've got a fucking audience there that I've built up. Why the fuck am I not uploading it to it now? I mean, sure, like, content isn't the best, but I'm sure I'm definitely going to try and, like, pivot a little bit more away from GreenText. I've got a couple of other shit posts planned, and some other, like, cool, actual podcast guest that I'm actually looking forward to having on the podcast soon. Another one. I've actually got one planned so fucking far ahead that I'll probably forget about it at this point until like next year. Potentially, it's not 100% locked in, but I got a pretty well-known Australian comedian coming on my fucking podcast, which is hilarious because my podcast is just a massive shit post. But one of the main things that's gonna help me doing this shit is I'm fucking finally getting an internet upgrade. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh man, dude, you don't know how long I've been waiting for competent internet speeds. My entire life, I have never experienced internet speeds of higher than 300 kilobytes a second in my own household. Sure, when I was at university and whatnot, they had good internet. Even my high school had, really good internet because, they get their own fucking lines and whatnot. But living at home, I always had fucking garbage internet. And it's becoming quite a problem lately. Mostly because, I totally realized I went immediately off a tangent. I've been doing a lot of, freelance editing jobs, through this person that I met, last year. And it's paying pretty well. But the problem is, sometimes it'd be alright, a lot of the time it's because they don't have time, so they offload on it to me because they know I'm competent enough to get it to them within, less than 24 hours. And they pay me a good amount for it. But the problem is, the amount of footage is maybe the footage I had to deal with the last week was 10 gigabytes of footage. Now, if you put two and two together here, 300 kilobytes a second download speed, 10 gigabytes. 10 gigabytes is it roughly translates to 10,000 megabytes. So I don't even have a single megabyte download. I have a third of a megabyte download speed. And roughly at the moment it takes about, maybe an hour, roughly an hour per gigabyte to download stuff. And it got to the point, I left the footage to download overnight so I could have it ready for me in the morning. And the download failed and I was just fucked. The download wouldn't be able to actually finish in time, so I had to fucking travel an hour into the city to go back to my university that I have actually graduated from, but thankfully I know people there still, and they let me download some stuff and use their internet. Download all the footage in less than fucking 30 seconds, and then fucking travel an hour back home again just to get all that fucking footage, just because my internet is garbage. And now finally that I have the NBN available, I actually have real good fucking speeds. Well, it's not set up fucking yet, but the thing that I signed up for, I've naturally signed up for the fastest speed possible, and it said 48 megabytes to 100 megabytes a second. I doubt that I'm gonna get that, but holy shit, it's going to be a massive fucking upgrade for me, I'll tell you that. Jesus Christ, is it ever. I almost won't know what to do with it, but it's gonna be so... Because, that was also another one of the, motivating factors with this sort of stuff, too. Whenever I upload stuff, it just fucking tanks my internet. And upload speeds is completely different from download. I think I have, maybe 50 kilobytes upload speed. Literally. On one of my other channels, I had a gigabyte file, for a video that I had to upload to YouTube. It took over 12 hours to upload a gigabyte to fucking YouTube. It's thankfully there's editing tricks that I can do, and if I do low bit rates and low compression on the GreenCast especially, I can keep them to 12 to 20 megabytes, maybe 100 if I'm unlucky. But even still, they take 10 to 20. Maybe even a couple hours in some cases, depending on if they're the longer ones, yeah. And it's just I can't really fucking do anything else unless I leave it alone or try and do it overnight and pray that it goes through and whatnot. So yeah, thank Christ. Hopefully this will sort my shit out. and that'll allow me then to potentially even stream. Yeah, if I get OBS figured out and set up, hopefully I can make streams a regular thing. Don't know what else stream. But I'm sure I'll fucking figure out something to fucking stream. But yeah, 2019 at the moment is looking pretty lit for content on my channel. I definitely won't try and what's the word I'm looking for? Neglect the channel as much as I have, especially the past couple of months. Because next year I'm fucking hitting 100k. I probably got a little bit ambitious. End of last year, I hit not 100k. I hit 10k, and then the next year, this year, I wanted to hit 100k, but I hit 65 because there was definitely a point where I was like getting over 300 subs a day, and I'm like, I'm gonna piss it in 100,000 subs. Here I fucking come. And then American Summer ended, which is like 80% of my audience, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, of course. That's why I was getting a dumb amount of views and subs at the time. And it's definitely hitting a low point because Americans are still in school. However, you're getting your Christmas break soon, so hopefully my views will go back up again. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, internet and whatnot, and fucking, yeah, and content. So yeah, hopefully I can experiment a bit more and not be so afraid of a high, count of size of files that I can actually upload and whatnot. So that'll be fun, hopefully. But also, I thought I might as well talk about one of the other main reasons why I hadn't uploaded and really demotivated, and that's because I kind of went to hospital. It was only an overnight thing, but it fucked me up for like 2 weeks. Basically, what happened was I got what is called a pilonidal cyst. And it was basically, it's this type of cyst that happens, I don't know, with people that have coarse hair like me, and especially common in like younger men apparently. It's basically, a cyst, if you don't know, is an ingrown hair that, gets infected and then fills up with pus and needs to be drained and then, makes a hard center and whatnot. And basically, pilonidal cysts are cysts that happen, like, on the butt. And thankfully mine was, like, slightly better placed. It was, like, almost right on the top of my cheeks, like, right where the crack, like, almost starts. But, like, at the start, when I noticed that it was developing, I'm like, my butt, it feels a bit weird to sit down. Like, that's kind of weird. I don't know why. Whenever I put pressure on this certain area, it kind of hurts a bit. So then I went and saw the doctor, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And he's like, oh yeah, go see the specialist. And then, yeah, they confirmed it. And, they couldn't book me in until, like, immediately the week after. I think it was, like, a Wednesday. And then I think they saw me on Thursday at the time. And then they're like, go easy on the weekend. And, that weekend, it just happened to be Supernova Expo. Or I went in, like, cosplay on, like, 2 out of the 3 days. And I'd already booked it in, and there's no way I was fucking sitting it out, especially when I'd planned out all the shit for this. So I went to that, and Saturday night, it burst on its own, and I had to drain that and fucking deal with that shit. But yeah, and then I had to get surgery on my ass to get the rest of it drained. And when they did, it basically left... I think they described it as like a centimeter deep hole in the top of my ass. And that can be a bit of a bastard to heal. They said it could take up to 2 to 3 weeks to heal. But apparently I'm a fucking X-Man, and I healed in like 2 weeks or less, basically. But every single day I had to get my ass repacked, which means they had this almost like shoestring-looking stuff that's called gauze. They soak it in betadine, which is like a disinfectant type stuff. And they basically just had to like stuff the wound every day until they couldn't really fit it anymore. And so I had to go to the doctors, my local doctors, every single fucking day, every morning. That was my morning, just getting my ass restuffed. and it was just so awkward, because then, especially during the start, I basically had to get almost like a nappy size fucking pad taped to my ass just to make sure that the gauze didn't leak everywhere, and just to protect everything else too, and make sure I didn't bleed. And that was pretty fucking demotivating too. At the moment, I'm pretty much healed over. However, there's the potential of the actual cyst itself to be still there. I don't know if it is. My ass kind of feels fine at this point, but I'm actually going back for my 3-week checkup tomorrow. So I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, whether they're gonna have to cut my ass open again to fucking pull it out. Because apparently they couldn't do it while they drained it with a risk of infection, so it had to fully heal over for it to do it. And there's the chance that the cyst itself could just like go away by itself, but they said don't keep your hopes up. So I don't really know. I've got content sorted until like at least Friday next week. So even if something happens, I should still have time for it to, like, you know, heal over a little bit more, and I feel a bit better, and I can record another batch of videos and whatnot. But yeah, fucking, especially it was real fucking annoying, because, I mean, I had a regular appointment at 9 o'clock every day, and because it's like the doctors, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I have no experience in any of the countries, because I haven't really lived in any other countries, obviously, but the way that our health system works, we have Medicare and stuff, and they just bulk bill, which means basically, it just means free, essentially, where you can go see a doctor, and you don't have to pay anything. So I went to my local doctor, and I bulk billed just like nurse checkups every single day. However, the policy of this particular doctor was that, the nurse actually has to pack it. The doctor doesn't do that. Nurses do that. But I have to have a doctor check up on me and give me like a slip that I actually go through to go get the nurses to do it for me. Because obviously I can't reach around to do it myself. But yeah, they had to see me every single day. And because it's the doctors and there's, you know, it's free and whatever the fuck, it's majority of the clients that go see the doctors are old people that are half fucking dead already, and younger people that have just hurt themselves in a dumb way, like me, where just a hair just fucking is like, yeet, and just infects itself in my butt. So yeah, it could, even though my appointment was at 9 o'clock, it could be anywhere between like 9 to 9:30 where the doctor actually sees me. And then afterwards, depending on like how many nurses were on staff, I was waiting anywhere between, I mean, there was days where I was in and out in 15 minutes, but there was other days where I was waiting like almost 1.5 hours. And it's just like, I lost my morning every day for fucking 2 weeks. And thank God I'm fucking self-employed, or else I would have been freaking screwed if I actually had a 9-to-5 job where I actually had to go somewhere, or like try and book it in the afternoon and hope. But even then, I'd lose all of my fucking afternoon. It's just, I'm just thankful that I was self-employed, and I had my 3D printing business, obviously, and YouTube. And I mean, I didn't really have anything else to particularly do. And yeah, I mean, just having someone else like shove something in your ass, you know, it's not really the most empowering thing, I guess, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, I find out my fate for the next couple of weeks tomorrow, so by the time you listen to this, I would have already gone through the shit. They might book me in, they might do it the same day. I don't fucking know, but, you know, even just, like, spending overnight in the hospital, even after that, like, minor surgery thing was just fucking, it's just so, you know, not great. Because obviously they put me on an anesthetic and everything, and when people do that to you, they have to apparently, you know, keep you under constant watch, and that meant every 2 hours for the next like 24 hours, I had to get my blood pressure taken, which means that, you know, the inflatable thing they put around your bicep. And that means even, like, you know, at all times of the day and all times of the night. So, you know, you're in the middle of sleeping and then suddenly, bang, crash, time to check your fucking, time to check your fucking blood pressure, but I don't know, man. I just hope I don't have to fucking do another overnight there. But if I have to get the surgery done, I obviously will have to. I'm also currently drinking a protein shake because I just got back after gym. And I thought I'd bang out a potty because, I mean, I'm actually mostly just waiting for a 3D print to finish so I can start another one while I'm, you know, sleeping overnight and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've been really getting into these like protein shakes and stuff because, especially when I get back from gym, I just, you know, I feel a little bit hungry, and I mean, protein shakes perfect, you know, fills me up a bit, and you know, it's actually good for me and helping build my muscle, especially a lot more. Salted caramel flavor too, which is quite nice. Shout out to VPA. Literally, no one's gonna fucking even know what that brand is. Anyway. What else did I fucking have to talk about? What the fuck else has happened to me? Internet's getting upgraded, yes. Oh, yeah, along the same lines of just, like, doing other videos and stuff, I do want to kind of do even just some more, like, almost Mr. Beast style shitpost, but, you know, obviously not to the extent of, like, giving my parents $100,000 or shit like that. Basically, I want to try and do some Mr. Beast-esque things, except, you know, on a poor cunt budget. Like, I got a shit post coming up where I am doing a comparison and review for every single variant of Vegemite and every knockoff of the Vegemite brand that I could fucking find. And also, bonus, if I get up to $50 on my Patreon, I will do a video where I eat a spoonful of 70-year-old Vegemite that I think is 20 years out of date. There's plenty of them on eBay, and they're priced around that sort of, you know, that area, and I can justify buying the fucking thing, because it'd just be, you know, it'd be funny, and it'd get views and stuff, but I don't know. I also don't want to justify it, because I'm probably get sick if I fucking do that anyway. But yeah, that's subtle hint to go check out my Patreon, because there's some stuff on there. There's some cool rewards too, like obviously there's Discord rewards and stuff like that. You can have a up to 2-minute recording of anything you want me to say. You know, within reason or anything, as long as you don't get me to say like nigger or anything else like that. You know, again, yeah, within reason, I'll fucking say anything you want me to. Cuss out your friend or fucking ringtone or whatever the fuck else you want me to do, I guess. But yeah, what else did I have here? Patreon, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, the audio version of the podcast will be caught up eventually soon as well. I don't know what it is about the fucking audio version of the podcast, but it takes like 20 minutes to half an hour to upload like some of these, and they're not even that big of files. Like YouTube uploads about the same size of files, like in half the time. I don't know why it tanks it so much harder, but it does for some fucking reason, and it's always such an inconvenience to me to upload it, and that's why I keep forgetting to. But it will be caught up. I do have them all rendered out. Just gonna upload them. Yeah. So the 2 people that have been asking for that, there's your answer. But also, speaking of that, I don't even know what I just said. Next week's podcast, I'm actually going to have Doverbra on the potty. I think he's probably one of the last people at this point, or the other like GreenCast narrators that I haven't had on my podcast. And I reached out to him a while ago, but I think he was also going through some shit and couldn't do it. But since then, he seems to be making a bit of a comeback, and he actually reached back out to me again. So I'm going to try and organize that with him to record sometime next week. So If you have any questions that you want to ask Doverbra or myself or both of us, you can put it in the community tab on my YouTube. That'll go up, when this is up, it'll already long be up. So you'll have plenty of chance. You probably have over a week to submit questions for us both at this point. I think that's all that I had to really talk about. I thought this would be a much longer podcast, but I don't really have any other questions to go. Oh, that was another thing. I suppose I'll throw it on the end of this podcast. I don't know about you guys, but like, I've been doing a little bit of freeing up some. I wanted to free up some space in my bedroom because I got this big fuck off TV cabinet that just. My TV's too big for it. So my dad and I actually like jerry-rigged this fucking extra board in the front of it so it can sit on like the edge and not fall off. Because it's like a decently sized flat screen, but it's also like an early 2000s flat screen. So when I say flat screen, it's still probably like, I don't know, like 10, 15 centimeters deep. Shout out to that one guy that does conversions. I'll heart your comment if you do that again. What the fuck even is like 10 to 15 centimeters? I don't know. What am I talking about? I have a fucking I always have a tape measure on my desk, and I don't even know why. Yeah, it's about like 15 centimeters, which is like 6 inches, maybe deep at the back. And it is kind of heavy. But the TV cabinet, I'm like, what the fuck's in here? Because I recently sold off my PlayStation 3 to someone else, to one of my friends. I don't know why, but he hit me up just saying, hey, do you still have your PlayStation 3? And I'm like, yes, I do. And he's like, you want to sell it to me? And I'm like, yes, I do. So I sold him my PlayStation, and apparently all he wanted was like some of the exclusives, like Infamous and Last of Us, and I'm like, sure. So I sold him everything for $90. And then I did the smart thing of, I'd also been getting into, that's like a whole other thing too that I hadn't really talked about. I've been trying to catch up on all the Pokemon games that I've missed, because I only had, at the time, a normal Nintendo DS. And so all the 3DS games, like, I just couldn't fucking play, because I didn't have a 3DS. And at this point with Nintendo Switch, prices plummeted for them. So I got this cool, like, 2DS XL Pokeball edition that I paid like $130 for, which is fucking great. And so then, with all the remainders of PlayStation 3 games that I have, I took them all to EB Games, which is our version of GameStop, and I traded them all in, and I got basically Pokemon Omega Ruby for free. And I've just been playing through that. So once I cleared all those out, and I had a look at my cabinet, and I'm like, oh yeah, DVDs are a thing. And so I took out all of my DVDs, because I have digital versions of most of them at this point on my hard drive. And I'm like, oh, these are a fucking waste of space. And so I took them all out of my cabinet, and now my cabinet's basically empty. And so now the idea is that once I get this fucking old cabinet out, I can wall mount that TV. But also just going through it, I'm like, fuck, DVDs are really, like, not a thing anymore that people have. Like, I grew up in a really weird time where I basically had, like, a pretty big collection of VHS tapes when I was a kid. The big ones were I had the entire series of the Thunderbirds marionettes. That was the big one. Another big one was I had an entire series of Astro Boy, the original Japanese anime, the English dub of it, obviously, though, on VHS. And I had, like, this big VHS collection. And, I don't know, like 5 years later, VHSs were basically, yeeted out of existence because DVDs were a thing. And so then, transitioned out of VHSs and got a bit of a DVD collection. There was a point where I had like a dual VHS and DVD player. And I don't know, as I got older and older, I just didn't really watch DVDs anymore. And now it's... I never really got on the Blu-ray sort of train thing, because I never had a Blu-ray player until I got my PlayStation. And I got a couple of movies, and even I didn't really buy them. Other friends have bought them for me. The only films that I own on Blu-ray is... it's hilarious. The only films I own are Sucker Punch, Sharknado, Batman, and I think Batman Returns. Yeah. They're the only 3 Blu-ray films I own, and now I don't even have a Blu-ray player, because my PlayStation was my Blu-ray player. So it's just fucking useless to me. And my fucking computer doesn't have a disk drive, for fuck's sake. Because this, I mean, I have an external disk drive that I use, because I don't really use it that often. The only times I really use my disk drive for my computer is to install games on it, at this point. But now that I'm finally fucking getting an internet upgrade, I won't even particularly need to do that anymore either. So, fucking... DVDs as well have just been, like, completely yeeted out of existence for me. Because I, you know, play this thing and just fucking... I'll just download it and I've got it on my hard drive. I don't have to carry all this shit anymore. And so now I've got this, like, collection of fucking... I don't know, maybe 100 DVDs that I just don't fucking know what to do with. Because I don't... I mean, no one's gonna fucking buy them, I think, to be honest. And I don't really want to donate them for nothing either. So they're just like sitting in another cabinet that I moved them to that I just fucking had to stuff. And I don't know what to do with the fucking DVDs. Because I mean, again, I think everyone at this point, I mean, especially around my sort of generation and like age group, just has like a hard drive that they just fill with TV shows and movies at this point. Like, physical media like that just got yeeted. It's just got yeeted. It's the best way to fucking describe it at this point. But yeah, all you fucking need is like a laptop or a Chromecast or whatever the fuck else equivalent plugged into your TV and away you fucking go. Yeah. But I think that's particularly all that I really wanted to talk about this week. Yeah. So yeah. Secret phrase. What do I want to fucking make it? Let's make the secret word or phrase this week back. So, what are your reactions to me finally being back? I don't know any other questions to particularly ask. But just include somewhere in your comment the word back, or even just post the word back, and so I know that you actually made it the whole way through this podcast. And I'll give you a little fucking heart. How about that? So then you feel like I'm actually interacting with you. But yeah, subscribe to my... Is subscribing to Patreon? Is that the thing? Pledge to be on Patreon? I don't really know. Yeah, I guess subscribe because it's a monthly thing. Yeah, Patreon to be in the description. Check it out. There's rewards and shit like that, because even though that I have my AdSense sorted now and monetization sorted, a lot of the bigger videos are getting yeeted with their monetization now at this point. Now I think you're just becoming a bit more aware of my content. It's becoming a lot more unstable. That's for sure. I do actually have some questions. I did ask my Discord some questions as well. Quick gander, they're all pretty fucking garbage, but I'll quickly scroll through them and see if they're any good. Maltkey just says, do you like vor? If I'm not mistaken, vor is the fucking shit where chicks like eat you or eat other people, and that's like weirdly sexual. I think from my tone and explaining it, I think you already know my position on it. No, vor is fucking weird. I think this vor is probably even more weird than fucking jobs, and that's probably saying something. Marcus Australia says, why doesn't my dick work? I'm pretty sure you need, females for your dick to work. That's going up for me. Alcoholic says, how do I become more Aussie? I've been living here for over 13 years now, and I don't feel Aussie enough. So if you want to become Australian, I mean, you can embrace the stereotype by, you know, depending on if you live in Victoria, then you crack in your fucking VB not long necks. If you're a fucking Queenslander cunt, then you crack in your fucking 4X. Down by the Billabong. Fucking, I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. Tan up, go to beaches, eat lamingtons, shit like that. Ride kangaroos around, because we totally do that. But yeah, I think I need more context on what other nationality you are. Because, yeah. Depressed Seal says, do you feel like people on this Discord need to stop arguing about porn? Yeah, this also seems to be a bit of a war going on my Discord. I have some not safe for work boards where people can post their porn and whatever the fuck else they want, and 90% of it is furry porn, and people have been complaining that it's furry porn because, I mean, yeah, furries. So I made their own fucking porn board, and people are saying that I shouldn't encourage it at this point, but, I mean, like, you know, furries are fucked and everything, but, you know, they're not really hurting anyone else, unless they're, like, the weird furries where they're fucking animals, but, you know, we're all into our fucking own weird porn and kinks and whatever the fuck else. Just some are more fucked in the head than others, I guess, with their own, you know, porn habits. But opinions on, like, hentai and furry stuff. You know, hentai I don't mind, particularly, but, you know, I think I expressed my views on furry porn pretty well. Are the Jews a real problem, or I think it's Big Slam 1993 says, are the Jews a real problem, or is that just a left-wing propaganda? I don't know, man. Ask the 20-year-old dude who lives with his parents if the Jews are a problem. I don't fucking... I don't know, man. Are the Jews a problem? I'm just gonna say no, because I don't know any Jews. It sounds like juice when I say it with my fucking accent. I don't think it's a problem, but also just fucking left wing and right wing is just not a fucking thing in Australia. And it's always just hilarious and just cringe at the same time, just watching Americans fight over that sort of shit. What? This is 2 questions just saying, do you look like Chris Chan, or are you Chris Chan? That hurts, because I'm not that fucking autistic, I like to tell myself. Someone fucking linked a video the other day of Chris Chan fucking naked, masturbating to All-Star. And I'm just like... Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, alright, fuck it, I've done the secret phrase and everything else at this point. Answer some questions. But yeah, leave some questions for me and Doverbra in the community tab. I'll actually fucking put it up as soon as I finish recording this, so you got plenty of fucking time. There's no excuses to do that. But yeah, I will catch you later, cunts.